And we are back with our post-game wrap-up.
Winter wrap up. Winter wrap up.
Let's
First of
finish
all,
our holiday
first of all, I
cheer.
hope everybody enjoyed it, particularly the first story arc.
Oh, that was so awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, now we'll go ahead and go into our positives and negatives. In addition to the normal, we're going to do this twice, but let me explain what we're going to do. The first one is going to be for this session, and then the second group of positives and negatives are going to be for the entire story arc itself. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Very well.
Okay. First up, I will start with Henry.
Yes, positives.
Yes, for this session alone.
Yes, for this session alone, of course. Positives. The combat was really cool. It wasn't like super bogged down, but since Dominic is kind of new to this and I didn't know certain things, it did kind of slow down a little bit. But I foresee that next time, if we fall into combat, it'll go a lot smoother. It was really fun and really intense and really dramatic, and I really liked how it wrapped up with kind of like a sort of unexpected falling.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's good right now because like we didn't do too much. We kind of went like to a few places, and then kind of wrapped it up with a big fight, if that makes sense.
Okay. Dominic?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome this session. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the wrap up and with this the storm thing coming back, because I kind of forgot about the storm.
I mentioned it like twice.
Well,
Yeah, but nobody listens to you.
guess I should.
You're a woman.
Oh,
Oh snap!
That one all are women viewers.
what's that about sandwiches?
Anywho, go ahead.
I mean, I guess the connection was kind of escaping me, or that it would even be like the werewolf would have anything to say about it, which I kind of wish we could get more information from him. But I think it's interesting. I think there's like a level of like activity going on now with like extraneous stuff. Like, was there like this evacuation of like all these supernatural creatures, and that's kind of interesting. And whether we're going to choose to stay or go, I think that's a really cool place to leave off.
Should I stay or should I?
But yeah, I mean, it was fun as hell.
All right. Mr. Russell.
Let's see. I enjoyed the nice, solid, protracted combat. It's nice to have those every once in a while. A nice, meaty battle, if you will. I liked the solid kind of unfixable, not unfixable, but tense situation that ended up in that warehouse for a little while. The Sophie's Choice, if you will. That was fun as well.
Oh yeah, I actually really enjoyed that too. Sorry.
That's all right.
I consider that part of the combat, so.
Yeah.
And now things are starting to fully progress into a larger. It feels like things are opening up into a larger scheme of things. This felt as more of a personal kind of issue, and now this further expansion into apparently more events now is going to become more of a.
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah.
Well, just remember what I said in mine, or just remember what I said in the beginning. There's many story arcs that happened, or many story hooks that took place, and they all were. I don't want to say they all were going to take you to the same place, because that sounds like no matter what you did, you're going to end up there. No, but what I mean by that is there's simultaneous things going on at the same time, and that's the feeling I'm trying to convey. Like, while you're over here dealing with this personal drama, the world's still falling apart. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah. Keep going.
I think that's all I have is for solid, sayable goods beyond yay, fun kind of thing.
Okay.
And those
are
are
negatives. All right, and I'll go actually back with Russell. Negatives.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Oh, where's
Da-da-da.
the
I was caught. Oh, I felt the. Maybe I'm just facetious, but I felt the wrap up at the end was strangely convenient, with Graves kind of pulling up in a van alongside and politely explaining it all. But that could just be me being facetious again.
Well, you
Uh,
also have to do keep in mind. Well, your character wasn't there for the scene, but remember, it had been explained to the characters that she was over there on business.
yes, that's true.
Wait, but
Um,
was this the same van that pulled up
that
and shot?
shot up. Yeah,
That's the thing
Yeah, that
that's
was a hint. That's why Lucio was like, things are not
that's
what it
why.
seems.
That's why I slid a gun to you.
Well, no, actually, in all honesty, I really don't think Charles had the chance to tell the other characters what had happened to him because all this happened so fast.
I did last session mention the van, and we talked about whether we couldn't get anything out of the actual symbology.
Yeah,
No,
Lucio
no,
tried to
no, no,
think
but
about the Ankh.
yeah, but the thing is, you had just mentioned it. You hadn't mentioned what had happened.
True.
Yeah, I suppose.
So the only person who would know that would be you.
All right, and I think that's it that I have for solid
Negatives.
ads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Henry.
Negatives. Uh,
Keep in mind,
consider.
I told everybody I was tired beforehand.
Yeah. The negatives. I really the only negatives I can think about for like this is kind of the beginning. The beginning seemed kind of bouncy, as though there wasn't sure of where we were going. But like once we got to like the middle part of the game, things tightened up, so it kind of fixed itself out. Uh,
Yeah, that's usually how things go. It's like the start game jitters. Once you got to just plow through them.
yeah. After that, it became kind of cool. The only thing is the ending felt kind of a little too wrapped up. I'm not saying convenient like Russell was, like, how everything was convenient. Like it seems kind of like, I don't know. It's not too cliffhangery. It feels more like the tape kind of stopped. Does that make sense?
Well, in a way, that's kind of how it's supposed to feel. It's the end of one story arc, and you're going into another one. I mean, I
It
mean,
was a very, very clean cut, is what I think we were both kind of trying to get
okay,
across.
well,
It's like bang.
once again, that's kind of what I'm trying to go for because a story by itself can be just that, can stand by itself. I don't know if that makes any sense. There's many different stories within a chronicle. This was
right.
the
And in
conclusion
some
of
ways, it's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, no. I was gonna say this was the conclusion of one story arc, and now we're continuing. Like there's an overarching story arc, but that was that one story arc. You guys have wrapped that up.
Contributed by Kathy, no less.
Yes.
Yeah, it
Anyway,
kind of makes sense to me because it sort of lends to letting us take a breath. Because I could see if, like, then let's say she drove up in the van and shot at you guys or something and drove off. We'd be like constant chase.
I can
Um,
see. Yeah.
so it makes some sense that some of these things are just kind of like tied up a little bit, like neatly. It kind of leaves us with a chance to maybe return to like
yeah, yeah. Hopefully,
a
hopefully it gives you guys closure, but at the same time also leaves you with more questions. Is what I was trying to convey.
Yeah.
All right. Anywho, I'm sorry. Keep going. Who was
No, that was it.
Russell?
No, that was it. No, that was me going.
No, that was him. I went first.
I'm sorry, Henry. Was that
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Dominic.
Are we still on negatives for the single session?
Yeah, for the single session.
My only negative is that Henry uttered Twilight.
Well, you see that the thing is, I I explained this story arc to Kathy and to some of my players, and they all said you got to be careful because you don't want it to go Twilighty. And I said I don't think it's going to go Twilighty because of the fact that it's not a love
Not
triangle.
11.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
That's
like
why I was mad at Henry.
yeah, because Trent does love Rebecca, but he's not in love with her because they're siblings.
Yeah.
He's looking for her for another
Well,
reason.
Well, so then this adds
Well.
to the positive. I didn't think Twilight till it was spoken. I'll make
You
that.
are wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I was a little upset with that too. But
I'm
was there-
sorry.
But then again, just the mention of the word Twilight kind of upsets me.
No, I'm actually not. I've never seen any of the Twilight, so it doesn't.
I
just know
actually really
about
hate
it.
Twilight, but the fact that there was this young girl caught between the middle of a werewolf and a vampire, it was really hard to resist even mentioning.
Now.
Wait,
a
is there?
homeless werewolf and a cowboy vampire. Very different story.
that. Does that make it Brokeback World of Darkness?
No,
You wish, Henry.
and that is terrible for you to say that. Also,
I'm trying to think of a pun. Hold on.
well, no, I was gonna tell you why your sister was of so importance, but I don't know if you want me to tell you or if you still want to wait to find out.
No, I would say keep some mystery here because
Can you
I
drop a
think
hint then?
No.
No. Drop a hint, but don't tell us.
Purple.
No,
Tell Henry
if
private.
Trent, I'm sorry, yeah, if Dominic doesn't want me to say, I'm not gonna say. But
Damn it.
all I'll say is this isn't some willy nilly like I met her, I fell in love type thing. She has some significance. That's
I
all.
think it'll give us an opportunity to consider stuff, more mysteries we have at this point for this next arc.
Okay.
But I don't know. Anyways, that was the only negatives I had. I actually have to add that I really liked I was not expecting a Diablerie this session, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I will admit that too. I'll give props to Henry for that. I was pleasantly surprised with that. What I expected him to do was stake her, walk away, deal with the rest of the shit, then come back to her and say, okay, now you're going to answer some questions for us.
No, it's hunger time.
Yeah, and then, after she answered the questions to the best of your ability, because she would have been essentially at your mercy, quite literally, then you could have done whatever. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah. Oh, I also thought that I thought it ran smooth. I know that, I was a little bit slow and getting stuff wrapped up with dice rolls and stuff, but from my perspective, I thought you as a storyteller ran it really well.
John's a wonderful storyteller. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I mean, he's a fucking master at this.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's not going to give you more experience.
No. I'm not saying that as a master. I've played in your other games, so as a veteran of your games, I can only sing praises of you.
Do you get a jacket for being a veteran of his games? Or?
You get a ring. You
get a
gotta get
ring?
you gotta get it in the mail.
Where the fuck is my ring?
Well, I don't know.
Hey,
You live all the way in Florida, so you know how the mail is over there.
Yeah, it's elderly.
Anywho, okay, now we'll go ahead and move on to the actual story arc itself. And this time I will go with the new player, just because I'd like their insight as the story arc in general. And that is Mr. Dominic.
Yeah, I'm just really excited about it. I was really pleasantly surprised with the game so far. For a first live game, it's just great first experience. It's gonna be a hard thing to try to make me play Masquerade though now, because I'm really liking Requiem. But
that's what I kept telling everybody. You never want to start with Requiem.
No, I'm still open to all of it. But I'll play anything. But yeah, just been a really good time. And the story's been really nice and complex. It's something I want to continue to play. And yeah, I've got as much spotlight as Trent got. I'm very happy about that, and that was surprising too.
Well,
So,
he kind of took the spotlight in the beginning, for two reasons. One, you're new to the game, and two, everybody kind of agreed to follow that story arc. So
Yeah, no, that's a very good way to pull me in. So yeah, it worked on me. But yeah, like I think all the characters are working really well together. So it's been a lot of fun.
all right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Henry,
Positives about the overall end of this
story
this
arc.
part of the chronicle. Yeah, this story arc.
Mhm.
Okay, having only played one other fully complete vampire game and basing it off of this one was so much better. Oh my god. Lots of twists and turns, no hokey anything. I was pretty much on the edge of my seat every time we were getting close to a mystery and then being busted back and, ending it up in kind of like a warehouse kind of combat scene. Oh god, it was just pulse pounding. I mean, like, I don't want it to end just because I am curious to figure out what the nomads are doing. What is this oncoming storm that's coming on? What are the Order Dracul doing? Is Lucia really fated to be the killer of the prince? Find out all these
this and
questions and
more.
more on
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z.
Damn. Oh.
Like, I really cannot sing enough praises because this is the type of vampire game I always wanted but was never given. And yes, it's fantastic. I'm really hoping that my character's coming off as interesting and not just a total cunt, though. That's like,
Yeah, actually, I want to interject here because I think that we were giving Lucia a hard time for being a bitch, which she is, but she's also done some pretty neat things too, and nice things, especially helping out with I thought with Trent's dilemma. I mean, that was a sacrifice, really, which was surprising. But obviously, she got to Diablo as somebody, so I guess it's not saying much. But yeah, it's I think that's been cool too.
All right then. Anything else, Henry?
I want more.
More apples.
Oh God,
More apples.
Anywho.
Lucia, you okay?
Please stop. No.
Anywho. Okay, back to the wrap.
Oh, I have one more thing to say.
Yes.
The greatest part I felt was awesome was the literal vampire contestation between me and Russell's character. Like, that was like one of those true kindred like stare down moments of
Yeah.
You saw me do something horrible and I cannot let that go.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
vampire right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was really proud of that, but by the same token, I didn't want that to drag on, so that's why I had you guys make the roll.
I'm glad you did, because I don't
Oh,
think I
yeah.
could come up with enough logic in time.
Oh, I
Well,
thought
no,
the roll
because
was appropriate too.
that tends to be how I do it. Because I mean, somebody can be real good at at arguing like in real life, but let's say they want to play a character that is more
Isn't-
charismatic or what have you, then they naturally are, and that's where the dice kind of help balance that. I don't use the dice for everything, but like in that situation, it just so happened, while Russell, had nothing to go on aside from his, half-assed, rebuttal.
There's nothing to go on.
For some reason, it made a lot of sense, to Lucia. At least for now.
And remember, I may not be a very charismatic person in real life, but I am very logical, and I can play logical characters.
Yes.
I'll
Anywho,
continue to stack
sorry.
dice and
Back to the wrap up. Anything else?
No, it's Russell's turn.
Okay, Russell.
I felt that this chronicle served as a wonderful kind of a sampler, if you will, a morsel of all the different aspects of a proper vampire game. It had, in the first session, it had a lot of political intriguing and talking to a lot of individuals, kind of stepping lightly and treading neatly. The second session had a very investigatory feel. It also had the proper sense of kind of the feeding aspect and the more social aspect, where I felt that this last session served as a proper wrap-up and an action kind of resolve, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So it had all the nice sections of a good, it was simplified into a nice, neat morsel that I could make more puns with, but I'm not going to. So
Cooked very deliciously and simmered to.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Let me see. I guess the negatives for the story arc. I'll go reverse once again, starting with Russell.
Oh. Huh. See, I now have to come up with things quickly. I get it's see, it's not a very strong one, but it does feel kind not well. No, see, this isn't a very strong one at all, but it's the best I can come up with for a negative. Is that it was kind of short, I guess, so that each of those particular samples were only confined to their sessions. So we had a session of politicking and then a session of socialing, but that's not very strong as a bad saying that there could have been more.
There could have been more. Yeah, I can understand that. But you also got to keep in mind, this was a short story arc for a number of reasons. One, we're having a new player, Dominic, and I wanted to make sure that he's kind of getting the vibe to how everything is. Two, like I said, I haven't run Vampire for a while. I want to make sure I still have the groove for it. And three, Rarity is the best pony ever.
Shut up! It's Rainbow Dash! And I'm wearing an Applejack shirt right now, so I think that's her.
Apple Dash, you're so crazy. You can't eat so many fucking apples. Fuck you, I can't.
Did you say Apple Dash?
Yeah, he said
Yes,
Apple.
I did.
Anywho, okay. Our poniness aside.
The ponies. What have I gotten myself into?
You've gotten yourself into fun.
Wonderful thing.
Secret butt fun.
I think.
God.
Let me see. Yeah, that's why I intentionally made it kind of short, but to the point for this story arc alone, at least, because I didn't want it to drag on with the whole. Because especially the way it kind of sorted out, where everybody's like, well, we have to find Trent's sister. Once everybody kind of hopped on that bandwagon, I'm thinking, okay, realistically, if she was kidnapped, like you guys were led to believe, they're not going to hold on to her for an extended period, without either making some sort of contact or what have you. So, in and of itself, that kind of limited the length of this particular arc, because it was kind of a more direct sort of, it forced you to take action.
Yes.
Or at least that's the way I saw it as the person telling the story.
Actually, yeah. Suspicion actually arises now, but that's different. That's for later.
Okay, anything else, Russell?
No, that's it.
Okay, Henry?
I'm going to have to kind of parrot a little
Hello?
what Russell said. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you were just real distant for a moment.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to have to basically parrot what Russell was saying. And
Too short.
yeah, okay, it was 3 sessions long, and having only played in 2 actual complete chronicles with multiple stories, most of the sessions usually lasted 5 or 6. Not sessions, but the story arcs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand because Dominic is a new player, and it would be better to hook the new player in because the veteran players are more willing to patiently wait. It was good. It was good short games, but still, I kind of I understand because of the whole kidnapping thing. It kind of had to be rushed, but I would have honestly have liked to have drawn out certain aspects, like the investigation thing. Overall, if I were to give that a grade, I'd give it a 3 out of 5, just because it was one investigation, and then kind of I don't know, it just fell into our laps, kind of just plot hook wise. Not you actually gave it to us, but we accidentally stumbled onto the correct plot hook instead of coming to the logical conclusion.
Well,
we would have found it.
Isn't that usually how it's supposed to go? I mean, I didn't give it to you. You guys worked for it. You guys earned it. I assumed you guys would be happy about that.
Oh no,
I think we would have found it one way or the other.
I'm happy that we found it. It's just I feel like for the first 3 games we were kind of stumbling all around blind. So when we found something, we didn't really dig into it. We just kind of like ran with it like it was on fire.
Batman with a bomb.
Yeah.
And
well, I really don't have any rebuttal to say about that, except
shut your
that's
face.
kind of what you were supposed
Except
to do.
that you're dumb.
You guys weren't sure what to do. You found a plot hook and you ran with it. I mean, that's storytelling.
Yeah.
As aside from the fact that it was shorter, but actually, if you guys want to think about this as anything at all, think about it as the prelude to the main event.
That's actually a really good way to look at it. Think of it more as a prelude to get more like character structure going and
Yeah,
like
because now that we'll be moving into the meat and potatoes of it, you kind of already as players and as characters, you already have a grounding,
a greater sense of being.
A greater sense of being, but also grounding as
yeah.
far as where you stand more or less with the kindred in the city already.
Yeah.
Blood potatoes, of course.
But anywho,
Yeah.
anything else, Henry?
No, I just want to say like my negatives are like no connotation that this was a bad game at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because
All right,
I love this game. I love this so much.
all right then. Okay, Mr. Trent or Dominic, as the case.
Yeah. I almost started going into positives because I forgot we're doing negatives. Yeah, I don't have any negatives.
You sure? I mean, just maybe something you would have liked to see go a different way. Maybe something you didn't understand. So forth, so forth.
Okay, I'm gonna return. Negatives. Okay, I'm gonna return back to one thing.
Yes.
Because I don't want to cop out on the negative thing, but so there's these like sort of underlying like meta things happening with Trent and Lucia, but I don't see like some kind of meta thing underlying Charles.
Yeah,
I think there's plenty of time for something like that to happen, but maybe we're just haven't approached that yet. And I know we talked about this before, but it's like I guess I'd like to see like, I mean that's a lot of stuff going on too, but I'd like to see some of that, like maybe some other. I mean, because there's just like something up with Trent and Lucia, and we're like, what the hell's going on there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And but with Charles, it's more straightforward. But I mean, maybe that's a role that's important too.
Well, the way that I see Charles's character is I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Russell. It is your character, but the way that I see him is he's more content to stay out of trouble. He kind of minds his own business unless trouble comes looking for him.
Right.
Well, no, I'm asking Russell. Is that pretty accurate?
I suppose that would be fair. Yeah, without delving into long debates of character.
So as a result of that, the interactions that Charles got, while they were, in my opinion, I felt they were good, for Aventro.
For trash.
I'm not a fan of.
Do you have a Ventru bias?
I have a Ventru and Invictus bias.
That's why he doesn't call them Venture.
They're Ventru. Anywho, they were good and they were well deserved, but they were within their place. I had thrown some stuff out there for Charles, and for some reason or the other, Charles opted out not to either engage them or not to vocalize them to the other members of the group, and that's fine. That's entirely Russell's decision. Maybe he felt he didn't have the time to do that, or maybe
it was a time.
Wait, let me clarify. Let me clarify what I was saying. I think that I'm not necessarily talking about the in-game action.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm talking about like the analogy would be Trent's blood smells weird or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
that's some like intrigue that's like beyond really anything
Mhm.
that we can know about. The also there's something up with Lucia being a danger to the prince. Although it would be awful, I guess, too, if like all of us had something like weird going on too. I guess that would kind of that would be a
Someday,
little bit overdoing it. But
if we ever get back to Elysiums one day, technically Charles is a dangerous political confidant who's harboring incredibly sacrilegious political ideals. So,
yeah, actually, that's actually what kind of I would like to see develop there, maybe with the political side. But I don't know. Anyways, I'm grasping for a negative, and so I don't.
No,
I'm just trying to
I
find
can
something.
I can kind of understand what you're saying. You're saying that maybe Trent and Lucia hog the spotlight a bit too much.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I'm try. I couldn't say that because I didn't want to
Okay.
say that I hugged the
What about
spotlight.
you, Russell? Do you feel the same way, or are you content with the amount of screen time you got?
I am content for now. I don't see any issue really. I feel like enough stuff is happening with all of us that I don't feel left out or anything. It's like I'm sitting in a corner somewhere. I got to shoot someone dramatically today, so I don't mind.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm not saying the actions, because I think there's some of my favorite actions.
There's no
Yeah,
overplot.
Yeah, I thought you've
it's
been.
not the actions themselves. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I think you're sharing. I think you're sharing time perfectly.
Okay.
I guess I was just talking about like a meta plot,
Yeah.
Connection with the characters.
Right.
Right. Well, all I can say is the way Russell wrote his character, he's the odd man out in the fact that he doesn't have that same sort of intimate connection that you and Lucia have. Like you and Lucia have that kind of almost mentor and pupil kind of connection, whereas Russell's more like the wacky neighbor who's just kind of helps you on adventures.
He's the guy. He's the guy behind the fence that you can never see his mouth.
Yes, who's constantly spreading disturbing political. One day that's going to come in handy, I swear.
Actually, I do kind of have to ask. Following a certain character's backgrounds, I know it's kind of like I don't know if it'll ever play out, but are we gonna ever like dig into more of Lucia's like
Nazi war crimes?
No, not Nancy war crimes. More like her archaeological investigation into vampiric history and stuff.
I'm going to say yes. That actually, I did try to plant the seeds for you to investigate that with the scene that happened with you in the sheriff's office.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was conveyed well. If not, I apologize.
No. It was conveyed, but she doesn't know how to act on that.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem to me.
Do not worry, we will
because
have you running through giant
Lucia's an
stone
interesting
buildings.
character to me because she belongs to this covenant, but by the same time, while she's part of this covenant, she detests everybody that's in it. Although she likes what they stand for, and to me that's very amusing.
Well, she prefers the old style that she came from, where it's like scientific method and, there's some supernatural elements to the world, but it could possibly be, studied and explained and duplicated.
She blinded me with science.
And when she came to, Eden, it was like, what are these fuckers doing? They're giving up their scientific method for mysticism? That's
they never said they were giving up their scientific method for mysticism.
That's what it seems like to her, at least.
She's a black magic.
She kind of sees them as false Order Dracul and more like,
Posers.
People, like people playing at Order Dracul, like they're like a fake Order Dracul.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's fine. I mean, that's well within her realm of, thinking what she wants. I mean, you have people like that all the time, especially in real life. You have people that think, oh, well, that person's not a real gamer because this and this and that, and, what have you. So, yeah, that's entirely well within that thought process. I forgot where we were. Were we on process?
We had just finished the negatives.
Yes.
All right then.
So now it's
Everybody-
time for experience and character growth.
Ah,
Yes,
good. I wasn't going
experience.
to. I didn't want to be the XP heckler.
I
Nope.
will go ahead and say, Henry, Lucia is going to get an experience bonus just because she committed the terrible act of diablerie.
Doesn't she get a few extra bonus things for diablerie?
A slap to the face and a shameful look from everyone around.
Imprisonment.
I will
To the
say,
dungeons!
I will say she will get the basic level of obfuscation.
Well, she
Convenient.
already has Obfuscate 1.
She get
Well,
that
then
from the
there's no
Nosferatu.
more I can teach you.
Doesn't she get a blood point?
A blood point or blood potency?
Blood potency. That's what I meant.
No.
Why not?
Rather,
Because no.
Because she's a whore.
Is you get these experience points, and you can opt to raise your blood potency with them, because essentially you're taking in this character's past, their feelings, their thoughts, their emotions, what they've done, what they've seen, everything, and you're learning from it or growing stronger from it accordingly.
Ah.
That is no einen booby. All right then. I am thinking 6 experience for everybody, and Lucia will get an additional 4.
Sweet. That makes 9.
That makes 17.
Shut up.
Did you guys save experience points?
I did.
I had 3 left over. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, and then
I ate all
the
of mine.
guys go ahead and spend their experience. I'd like to thank everybody for listening, and stay tuned for the next session.
Bye.
Better do.